Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So I don't want to waste any time, I just want to get right into it. Today we're going to be talking about the new 21 Pilots album, specifically City Walls, the entirety of City Walls, the credits of City Walls, the ending of City Walls, what I think City Walls means. Yeah, we're going to be talking a lot about City Walls, but also my thoughts on the album as a whole, because I think it is pretty good. Now, and we'll just get that out of the way firsthand, I do love the album, even though it kind of just came out, and I'm still getting used to it, because some of the songs feel kind of samey, but that's how Clancy felt to me as well, so I guess you could say I'm just getting used to it. But yeah, by the way, we're also sipping on the brand spanking new Raspberry Cream Ghost. It is actually pretty gas. If I was still doing drip or skip, I'd give it a drip and not a skip. So, what are my thoughts on the album as a whole? I've already said this, but I think it's great. At the end of the day, it's really introspective. And while Clancy was more about, like, Tyler, this is more about us. It speaks, some of the songs, especially the personal ones, speak more and provoke more thought than I think the Clancy ones did. And that's not to say that Clancy's bad and Clancy's not introspective in any sense, because it is. There's things that you could take, even though Tyler's mostly talking about his life. There are many things that you can take from that ultimately relate to your life as well. How to be a good dad, how to be, how to love nostalgia, how to care for your friends. Point being is that I believe that Breach speaks a lot more in a general sense and speaks a lot more to the audience than it does to us, and that includes the lore song kinda as well. So here's what I think about Breach and specifically City Walls. The ending of City Walls. So first of all, the whole song. Let's just talk about the whole song first. The whole song feels very Mute Mathy. You can feel the Mute Math inspiration. And if you don't know who Mute Math is, they're basically a band that never really took off that much. Like, they were pretty popular in their niche spaces, but those are exactly what I just said they are. Niche spaces. Now, the whole thing with Mute Math is the lead singer of Mute Math actually helped compose and produce songs for 21 Pilots. So, City Walls is interesting because with like the flute, like the and especially the drums and the bass as well, it feels very Mute Mathy, and in a good way too. I wouldn't have it any other way, because honestly, it sounds really good. The other thing that I'll say about it is that I believe it's very emotional in the same sense that Paladin Straight was, and I feel like it's a perfect sequel to Paladin Straight. I know we didn't get the happy ending that we wanted to, more on that in a sec, or at least that most of the fans wanted. But at the end of the day, I think this is the best route they could have taken. Again, more on that in a sec. And let's just talk about that for a sec. So, I firmly believe that this is the best route they could have taken. Instead of Clancy breaking the cycle and killing Nico, him becoming Nico is a lot more interpersonal with the audience. Because just seeing him, flash the this, that's cool and all. And I feel like him doing that, and that being the end of Nico, would have put him in the position of being like this new figure anyways, that people can aspire to be. Because ultimately, Nico is a representation of these dark thoughts that lurk in the back of our mind. And he would assume this new position of power being positive, I guess. But that just doesn't make any sense for the story that they're trying to tell. So here's the other side of it, is that and this is something I brought up just a couple minutes ago, but it's a lot more interpersonal in the sense of there's a lot more that we can take from it as an audience than what Tyler can just give us and the ending we all expected. The plot twist at the end of him picking up the cloak, putting on the cloak, taking the other 8 banditos that were in there and giving them all cloaks from the Niners is like, it's not the worst decision they could have made by a long shot. In fact, I actually think it's the best. And the reason for that, and I was thinking about this earlier because I went on a walk, is because ultimately, sorry, I just remembered, I forgot to tell you guys, my bed's made this time per my sister's suggestion. Also, kind of going back to the whole 21 Pilots thing, they are, in a sense, entirely made up of the community. Even, like, in the end credits of City Walls, for example, there's it talks about how the story was made, and it says, and you. And I think that's more than just a cheap, like, oh, stop. It's more like a... It's a lot more than what people give it credit for, most of the time. Because I think in here, it means something a lot different. And I'm very happy that it's the direction that they took. Because ultimately what we can grasp from it is that we have a choice to be the Clancy, to break the cycle, and to have other people lead us to that. It's not an ending. It's not a new beginning. It's a warning. And I think that's what's so special about it. I genuinely feel like this is where their story ends. I don't think they're going to create another story where it's like, oh, we got to go find Tyler again and then kill Nico again. I genuinely think that this is the end of their story. I mean, that's what all the promotion was about, like, hey, let's end this type of deal. And I genuinely feel like they did end it. That the Banditos aren't going to find another Clancy because another Clancy doesn't exist. Or maybe one does, and that whole cycle is going to take place outside of the music world. And we're not going to see that. And I'm completely fine with that. Because ultimately, I believe that this entire story and this snapshot of the cycle that they've been running for who knows how long ultimately tells us what we need to do. It's a call to action, like I said earlier. And that's my interpretation of it. And I feel like I'm just talking in circles now. So let's talk about the rest of the album. I think outside of City Walls, because City Walls is my favorite song off the album, I think outside of it, I also love Downstairs. I also love Raw Fear. There's another song that sounds like Oldie Station, and I'm forgetting the name of it, but that one's really good too. And the one-way transition into Days Lie Dormant is really good. And yeah, I just love the album. It's really good. I'd give it a solid 10 out of 10. It just checks every box. It checks every box. And I think from like an objective reality standpoint, 21 Pilots doesn't have a perfect album. I think they're perfect in their own rights, like what they're trying to accomplish. I think each one of them are perfect. But I don't think they have an objectively perfect album. And this is something I was talking about in the episode with Ephraim for the Black Market Buffet that I don't think is going to come out, which I'll talk about in a community post. But yeah, I love the way that the story ended. I don't think it could have been any better. We all cried when we saw him pick up the cloak and we saw Josh walk away, and the whole, I really like this Clancy. Yeah, so did I. To even think about it now, it's just awful. But I do believe the entire story is a warning. And in that aspect, I really respect it. And I respect the call to action as well. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Have a good day, you guys.